Say why? Boom, 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 boom. This shit gon' go. Ain't that a nigga go? Ain't pull up the nigga go right to the leg. Right there, they got him. Show what the neck like. Show what her neck like. Show what her neck like. Show what that cat like. Show what they bleed. Show me they bleed.
The chosen on his back. Okay. What have you guys missed? Well, I was locked in last night. I didn't record it though. Alright, so I got this sort of doing what I removed it, but doing what the other stuff was doing. So I like this. Now, basically, what else has to be done? Okay, so I mean, this file needs to be split up. But like, let's say we want something like, okay, we do have a style function. So like, we need to be able to like specify style, and then we need to like have a default, like, you know, BG color, you know, etc., etc. Or we need to be able to do like, and we need to be able to do like style and then hover or normal, comma, hover, comma, you know, this sort of thing. And then like in here, say BG color, whatever. So that needs to happen. I don't know if that needs to happen right now, but we do need to be able to, like, you know, specify style. Okay, another thing I did was, you can do this without the curly braces. I just find that, like, if it's like, oh, I want to add another children, I know exactly where to go with my cursor. Like, that's just like a usability thing, or like a ergonomics thing. Like I was trying before, like I'd be like, oh, like let me see if it highlights the previous cursor, but or the you know, whatever, like opening parenthesis, but like this is like a little bit cleaner to me. You can clearly see like this is a group, and yeah, it turns out we don't really even need a root node. We can literally just like start creating, and it's just gonna start at the beginning. Start with depth 0, like we'd have like a reset function here, something like that. Okay, so then we solve, and then we consolidate the quads, or this is consolidation. So like this is removing all the quads that we don't actually want to render. So it's gonna remove some of like the layout quads and stuff, and maybe this is indicative of like a poor design decision for like including the layout quads in that out buffer, but I think this is probably fine. I can't imagine this is like super expensive. So yeah, so I'm gonna run with this because this has to happen, or a design change has to happen here, because I'm not gonna like skip. I don't want to like filter out. I want like a tightly packed list of quads that corresponds. So like think about it this way, right? Each element, as we add, like each element is gonna have a quad, and then it's also gonna have a style. And so, or each rendered element's gonna have a quad or style. Like even if it's like hidden, let's like skip the hidden case for now. I mean, hidden we probably just skip it and don't put an out, like don't emit anything to either buffer. But like this way, we have, what we end up getting is a tightly packed list of quads, and then if we do something like style here, and within style we have something similar, we have like a similar sort of like buffer, because style is going to be pretty dynamic, and we want it to be like, okay, like you can write a bunch of instructions and we're just gonna like, you know, run them in order, and so and so basically, like but what we can do is when we iterate over this style buffer, we iterate. So what we can do is like, for each in style, which obviously is going to be like, moving, parsing until you get to the end, so on and so forth. But like for each in style, we store like style index, and then style index corresponds directly with a quad. So this sort of handles rendering in a sense. This is what we want for rendering. So like we either want like one, like what we could do, and honestly I don't know what the right answer is here. But we could have two separate buffers. We have like a style buffer and then we have a quad buffer. And each entry, like, we go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or what we do, because we're already reading from this quad buffer and writing it out, is we could just like consolidate them into one buffer. Because like if you think about it, this render pass is going to be used the most, I think. So I think it might be important to optimize for this. But then the question is, like, we do want that to be fast, but also like if the UI isn't changing. Well, actually, yeah, like let's say I like, hover in and out, like something like that, right? Like that's changing the style. That's being like, okay, hovered, not hovered, hovered, not hovered. So so the quad tree is built at that point, but we're doing like UI quad tree dot not clear query, and like mouse. Can we access the tie engine dot? Okay, I did not include that. Let's just say like mouse or whatever, glmvec2, wherever the mouse pointer is, okay, wherever the pointer or whatever we want to call it. We query for that. We get a list back. I think ui.quadtree.results. Yeah, we get so for auto res in results, res.data, and then we cast that to a std size t. We might have to reinterpret. Console.index is that. So now this, we have this index should map to a quad. It should map to a, well, here this we need to map to, okay, I'm glad we're actually thinking this through, because what we want here, I hate this structure binding bullshit. Okay, what we really want to do is we have, for each of these indexes, we want to check to see if we accept mouse events, probably for each event, right? And then call any callbacks, update style, update like current style. Okay, so that's sort of like where we need some sort of like state for each element. We need somewhere like a current sort of status of the element. So this index points to like the element index. So like this goes to the quad buffer. This could go into some element buffer. And we could literally say, we could have something like every time we add an element, this is anytime we add an element, we can also say, I thought I had something else that added, I thought there's more logic here. Whatever. Anytime we add an element, and I'm just doing box for now because like honestly I'm trying to think, like I don't want text to be that different. I want to see if we can build it either on top of this or like without changing too much. Because if style is going to be sort of like a buffer, what we could do is maybe we say, I mean, let's think about this. Like, do we have like struct element? Do we even have that? And we have stood size t style index. We could have that. We could have stood, and then we could have like stood uint 8t state. And state would just be like normal, hovered, focused, like, or normal, hovered, active. What are the pseudo states in pseudo classes in CSS? I just want to use these because hover, active, okay. Hover, normal, hovered, active, focus. I mean, that could also be, I feel like I already have like a, okay, because we could have multiple of these, right? Can an element have multiple pseudo classes at once? Yeah, probably. Yes, okay. Okay. So yeah, it should be that, and then pseudo class should just be, yeah, we should be able to like combine it, so we can just say like pseudo where do I even define this? PC, okay, whatever. I'm gonna change that later. PC normal. Okay. So now that adds another buffer in the UI, and this should not be declared down here. So we could say something like, I think we should have all the buffers here. The solve context is sort of like, it could be like a wrapper for some arguments, or just pass the UI context around. I don't know. I feel like there's not really a problem with either. Stood vector element buffer. Okay. These should all really be reserving the same amount. Are we still working? Yep. Okay, I only checked at 14 minutes. That's good. I feel like this one is pretty, like, productive so far. Okay, so we have an actual element buffer. And then we say, okay, so we write element, and then, so that's our one element buffer. And then we have another element buffer where we go element buffer dot in place back. I'm just gonna put 0 for now, and then I don't think we have to specify every argument. Okay. So now we know what is going on here. Now we can say UI.lmbuffer idx dot, or we could just say like auto lm equals that. lm dot. So what we could do see, I want to be able to support a bunch of different types of callbacks. And so that means that there should never be like a default number of callbacks. Like we shouldn't have just like a list of callbacks that are like null. I think that like a callback is like something that is like less likely to occur. So I'm sort of the mindset that we just stick them all. We either do a stood function array, or we do like a C style function array. And then we have because I want it to be sort of like I just don't want it to be like super sparse, you know? And I'm thinking I want just like a tightly packed array of stood functions, but like, let's say you remove a callback from something. Maybe the callback array gets cleared. Maybe it just gets built on layout and it just gets rebuilt. Would that be so bad? But man, I want to like support rebuilding parts of the layout tree. But do I? Kind of just like, let's just rebuild the whole thing each time. Because I don't want it to be like dynamic. Like I don't want to be dynamically inserting into this buffer. Because if we like remove a bunch of stuff in the middle, then we would have to have like a consolidation step. I mean, that might be slower, but I think we just rebuild the UI until we run out of like until we run out of like until it actually becomes a problem. I think that's what we do. I hid my doc for you. But I want, you know what I mean? I want to be candid when I like go to chat. So I don't know. But it would be nice to just have this window. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I could just like expand it to okay, well, I'm already recording, so I can't do that, but like I think I could just like take, yeah, okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do callbacks yet. I'm not sure how to do it efficiently because I want sort of an arbitrary number of callbacks. Like you know what I mean? Like on hover, on while hovering. You know what I mean? Like I want something like that, or like mouse enter, mouse leave. Like you know what I mean? Because probably what we want is something like, let's see, element we could say something like stood unat priv state PC normal. Okay. Because then we say lm dot priv state equals lm dot state, and then we say like if hovering or lm dot state equals, I mean, we know the state equals hover, and see, this is also interesting, right? Because we do lm state, and then we need to do, and then we want to like reset all of these. Like, because like for lm in ui dot lm buffer, and I'm just writing this. I'm writing this all in the test. It is what it is. Get over it. Okay, so lm dot state equals, or lm dot prev state equals lm dot state. Okay, so we preserve the previous state. Then we say lm dot state equals PC normal. Okay, this honestly could probably just be 0, but whatever. I'm doing normal, and you know, PC principle, right? You know, gotta show love. Okay, so we have that. Okay, now we can take this out, and then we can reliably say, okay, anything that we actually touch. So the question is, let's see, let's ask chat about this, because like honestly, I have a, God, don't say whatever you're gonna say. Stop. The main issue here, okay. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if, asking from a data-oriented design perspective, is it better practice, theoretically faster, to do this in 2 separate loops, or combine into the same loop? Oh wait, it wouldn't be that one, it would be this. The number of times each loop runs is the exact same, so I could use the same counter. Let's see what it says. I think I'm right. I think it's going to be Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Okay. So we want to reset. I mean that makes sense, right? Because like you're doing the same amount of work either way. But when you widen what you want to do, that may, I mean, it might not impact it here, but I guess it might cause cache misses, or what's it saying? Um, okay. I think I get it. I mean, it makes sense to me just from like a high level perspective, but I'm also just not like, I just don't know this shit. Like, I just don't know, and I want to know, but I just don't know it yet. I just don't feel like I'm like where I need to be. Um, but also it's just like I like getting shit done. Like I'm working on this library. Like I don't know. It's a weird balance between like, okay, like do I want to like read a textbook, or do I want to like write something fun and creative that also tests my skills? And it's like probably the latter, but also I'm on version 3, like, you know, basically rewriting this. I mean, I am rewriting this. I actually don't even think I need anything outside of this file. Granted, this is way simpler than all this other shit. I had all these different builders, all these different. Well, okay, I don't. The components are gonna still be there. All these different elements. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just not using in V2. And I want to keep V2 for the mems. I want to keep V1 and V2. But yeah, V3 is gonna be is gonna be super clean. Far less concepts. It's gonna be way simpler. I mean, look at this. It's under 1,000 lines of code so far. Granted, all this other stuff is gonna go in there. So, you know, call it what you will. Okay. Accidentally sent someone my VIN. Okay. What's next? All right. Okay, and then we say like, you know, if mouse down lm.state let's add PC mouse. The question is like, okay. Okay. Did not know you could do that. I just want one button that I can, like one thing that I can't. Okay, yeah. So when I move it off, it should still have. Well, well, we could say like if mouse down, or if mouse is not down, right? Because like everything else is staying the same. There's no like these states only change when I'm doing something, when the user's doing something. So if I do this and then I drag, the mouse is down, so we're not updating pseudo states, or we're not clearing. Well, yeah, but look, there's something. Okay, this is weird, right? There's some things where it's like, and this is why it's like, this is why it's important to have like a robust UI framework, because this is probably something different than this. Like this isn't a button, but this is. But these are not, it shouldn't be like button or not button. It's like something that's clickable. And like if I drag this, like what am I doing? Like it doesn't make sense if this is not like where I can drag something. Oh, my credit score went up. Yay. Chosen one. The chosen one. The most credit. The most credit. Locking in, making it happen. God is good. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this, because if we move this, we want to say like there's something to be said for like, okay, like at a certain point we manage a very light state, right? If you want more state, you can use something like if you wanted to implement like drag and drop, that's gonna be something else. Because that's gonna be something where it's like, okay, like on mouse down, we add this to, or on drag, we add this to a thing, and then on mouse move, we're gonna like add something to the UI tree, and then we're gonna update it everywhere you go. We should, okay, here's what we should do. We should allow for like an in-place update. If it doesn't change the structure of the tree, we should allow an update. Like, if the expression is the same length, we should allow an update. If it's not, or yeah. I think this is pretty robust. I mean, we're gonna have to think about each step of the way, and it's really gonna be like, okay, like let's, like I really would love to like get to the point where I can like test this out visually, but whatever. Okay. So we do this. I don't. Maybe we do. Maybe we say, like, how does CSS handle it? Do pseudo classes fall to elements behind the element on top? Say a button is inside of a div. The button has the button has hover. would the div behind it also have hover? Let's see. Okay. Let's just do that. And then the interaction stuff, or the callbacks. God, that's gonna be a problem. All right. We gotta figure this out. I mean, do you want to do style or interactions? Because I mean, style's worth thinking about too, right? But let's do interactions. Let's say, okay, so this is all updated, and let's just say we reset. Let's say let's not support, or yeah, let's just say yeah, let's not support drag for now. We could come back to that. Oh. Okay. So now we go see what happened, right? We update this and now we go see what happened. But the issue is so we know the old state, we know the new state. Now we go see what happened. Do we want something that's like on mouse leave? Like I mean, we could still do that, right? We could say if the previous state is hover and it's not, we could do that. Okay. So let's do it like this. If. But then see, this is where it's sort of like most things are not changing. So is it better to be smart and say something like I mean, we could do this naively. We could say like lm.state. Let's just see what we have to do. If we say lm.state equals lm.previous, okay. If lm state equals lm dot previous state, if it equals the previous state, then we continue, and that's gonna be, where do I put the likely? There. then we say if lm.state equals PC active and lm dot, or not equals, but and this doesn't, can I just say can I simplify this with an exclusive or? I thought you could like reverse it. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? They're not using XOR here. Just became active, just stopped being active, active state changed. Yeah, we want the latter. I guess we could say like const auto, that probably makes the most sense. So we like say like was active equals lm brief state and PC active. Const auto was hover equals lm.priv state and PC hover. Focus is sort of like one of those things where it's like I don't know if it belongs here. Because we don't have a concept of a text field. A text field is going to be a component, and that's going to have its own state. It's not going to be part of this system. So I think I'm going to ignore hover for now. So was hover, was active, const auto is hover. Okay, let's just do state. Const auto is active. Okay. So now we say if was hover and is hover. I mean, what we could do is this. Well, was hover and is hover. Mouse enter callback. If, I mean, these are exclusive, else if was hover and is not hover, mouse leave callback. If was active and is active is mouse down callback, else if was active and is active mouse up callback. Now we want like a mouse click callback. So we probably want to store some sort of time on this. Because we can't get multiple mouse ups without a mouse down, so we could say like size t last clicked, and we could say like mouse down lm dot last clicked equals stood I hate the C++ time thing. I feel like I have to increment the counter every. I don't even know. I just use steady clock. Oh boy, I'm tired. I don't know why. Third cup of coffee. Sure what I nick like? Sure what I nick like. Maybe I'll just do stood chrono duration cast stood milliseconds stood chrono steady clock now time since epoch. Dot count. That's just like insane. We could also have like the cats are fighting. Maybe we don't need this on every single thing because it's not like we can like click multiple things at once. So this might just be like something like this. Last clicked. Last click time. Last clicked. Guys. No. You know, go do something else. Go upstairs.
Yeah, go upstairs. Don't be a menace. Come here. James, did you see what Nick said?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alright, I'll see you later, dude.
Alright, see ya. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
I'm losing it. Hey. Okay. UI dot last clicked time. We could just say like auto I equals 0, I is less than UI dot ln buffer dot size plus I auto lm equals that. Okay. And then we say UI dot last clicked lm equals I. We say if last clicked lm if UI dot last clicked lm, and I'm gonna make a separate function for this. I'm gonna do like inline auto now stood size t return wham. Okay, now that's just so much more readable. I mean, I'm not a time API guy, but like this cannot, that's insane, right? Okay. If it equals I, and I'm gonna say this is probably likely. If it equals I, and actually no. If UI dot last element clicked and UI dot last clicked time plus how many milliseconds? 500. Less than now, or no, I'll just say greater than now. If we're under 500 milliseconds, then mouse, let's say mouse up, call back, mouse left click, call back. And then we'll have to handle this for right clicks too, but it's pretty much gonna be the same thing. This might just be able to be read only. Now where do we put these callbacks? Because right now we have 5 callbacks, but they really could go anywhere, or there really could be any amount of callbacks. We could have like on drag, on drop, you know what I mean? Like it could, I don't know if we're just gonna have 5, so I don't want to say like I want to say like when we add to it, we say I mean, what we could do we could have them all be the same type, right? We could either store them all in stood functions, or which kind of create dynamic memory. But again, we're not calling these stood functions. Like, I don't think that this is what we need to optimize for. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna try to not do this like on layout, on whatever call it, like. But if we do have to do a fast callback, then the stood function is gonna be fucked. Let's do it with stood function for now. Let's just do that. Let's say we have stood vector, stood function, void, what are we passing into it? All right, we need to pass our sender. So we can say, we can pass like std size t. That should be good. Callback buffer. I don't know why like we have to like initialize some of these but not others. Whatever. Okay. I mean, this file is getting to be a mess, but it's just really like a proof of concept. So we probably want all our callbacks here, right? Should I just take away this way of doing children? I'm just gonna do that. Then we could say something like auto on click. Or on, let's say on mouse. Dot mouse enter. Would that be better? Or on mouse enter? Or should it be like callbacks and then you put them in the list? I don't know. I feel like we're usually just having like one callback or two callbacks. So if we do something like on mouse enter, let's do it like this for now, and maybe we change it. Quad layout style on mouse enter. That's super clean, right? Whatever. On mouse enter returns an element writer. But we actually might have to do it the other way. We actually might have to. Because we might want them, well, they're not going to go into the element buffer, but we might have to put some sort of like, I don't know. Let's just try to write it and see what happens. All right. We take, let's say, let's take anything. And then we say UI dot on UI dot callback buffer dot in place back std move fn. Return this. Okay, so now we need okay, so that's fine. But we also need to know where and it's sort of like you shouldn't be writing these, like a std function is probably not bad as long as you're just storing a pointer to another function. Like if you're passing in a lambda, like that lambda has to get reconstructed, that could be a problem. But man, I don't know. I'm not the std function guy. You know what I mean? I'm not like the how do we store, user defined callbacks in a way that is like data orient. You know what I mean? Like in a tight contiguous array. Like that just like, I mean, we have to limit the user in some way, but it's fine. Let's work through this. Let's work through this. Let's say, all right, we're getting there. Jesus Christ, we're getting there. I'm getting hungro. What? Okay. So if we say on mouse enter, we pass in a function. Okay, that's the function we need. Now we need to let our we could say children has to be the last thing. We say if children, if you're calling something after children, that's a problem. We could just say that, because what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say, okay, on mouse enter, and then we're gonna say something like UI dot lm buffer dot I mean, it could just be like callback type, callback, callback type, callback. But we need a way to find that actual callback. So we could say, because it might not have it. This is the one we're currently editing. And we need to say on mouse enter. See, this I'm just not as clear on as like the layout thing. I've spent far more time on like the layout, but I do like, this looks pretty good to me. I just don't know. Like, all right, I got a route. To do, figure this out. All right.